He was a husband, a father, a successful architect in Manhattan, and for 17 years he strangled women and dumped their bodies along a desolate stretch of beach on Long Island. This is the story of the Gilgo Beach serial killings and how a discarded pizza crust finally brought a monster to justice. In December 2010, a police officer and his dog were searching for a missing woman named Shannon Gilbert along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach, Long Island. Instead of finding Gilbert, the dog led the officer to something far more disturbing. Remains of 4 women were found wrapped in burlap, scattered along the isolated highway. Over the following months, the remains of 6 more people were discovered in the same area. In total, the remains of 11 people were found near Gilgo Beach between 2010 and 2011. The case became one of America's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. For over a decade, police had no suspect. The killer had vanished without a trace. The victims were real people with real lives and families who loved them. Melissa Barthelemy was 24 years old, from the Bronx, New York. She disappeared in 2009. Her family received taunting phone calls from her killer after she went missing. Megan Waterman was 22, from Scarborough, Maine. She disappeared in June 2010 after traveling to Long Island. Amber Lynn Costello was 27, from North Babylon, New York. She disappeared in September 2010. A neighbor reported seeing her get into a dark-colored pickup truck the night she vanished. Maureen Brainerd Barnes was 25, from Norwich, Connecticut. She was a mother of 2 who disappeared in July 2007. These 4 women became known as the Gilgo Four. Their bodies were found within a quarter mile of each other along Ocean Parkway. But the killing spree went back much further. Sandra Costilla was just 28 years old when she was killed in November 1993, making her the earliest known victim. Her remains were found over 60 miles away in the Hamptons. Jessica Taylor was 20, from Manhattan. She disappeared in 2003 and her remains were found in Manorville. Valerie Mack disappeared around 2000. Her remains were also found in Manorville and later near Gilgo Beach. And Karen Vergata, age 34, disappeared in February 1996. Her remains were found on Fire Island in 1996, and again near Gilgo Beach in 2011. 8 women, killed over a span of 17 years, all strangled, some dismembered. So, who was the man behind these murders? Rex Andrew Heuermann, born on September 13, 1963, in Massapequa Park, New York. On the surface, he appeared to be a completely ordinary man. He was a licensed architect who ran a successful consulting firm in Midtown Manhattan. He was married to a woman named Asa Ellerup for 27 years. They had a daughter named Victoria. He lived in a modest house in the suburbs of Long Island. Neighbors described him as quiet and unremarkable. He attended community events. He went to work every day. Nobody suspected a thing. But behind that ordinary facade, Rex Heuermann was living a terrifying double life. Investigators discovered he had conducted thousands of internet searches for violent and extreme content. His search history included over 100 searches about serial killers and about the Gilgo Beach investigation itself. He was watching the news coverage of his own crimes. Prosecutors said he targeted sex workers specifically because he believed no one would look for them or care about their disappearances. He strangled his victims, and in some cases dismembered their bodies before dumping them along the remote stretches of Long Island. He used burner phones to contact his victims before they disappeared, then discarded the phones afterward. And critically, his wife was always out of town on the nights the murders took place, every single time. For over a decade, this case went completely cold. Then in 2022, everything changed. The Suffolk County District Attorney formed a dedicated task force to re-examine the evidence. The breakthrough came from an unexpected place, a vehicle registration database. A witness had reported seeing a dark-colored Chevrolet Avalanche pickup truck near one of the victims the night she disappeared in 2010. Investigators searched vehicle records and found a match. The truck was registered to Rex Heuermann of Massapequa Park. From there, police began pulling cell phone data. They discovered Heuermann had been in contact with several victims just before they disappeared. They also found he had been adding minutes to burner phones, and the movements of those burner phones matched the locations where victims were last seen, but they still needed physical evidence to make an arrest. Then came the moment that cracked the case wide open. A surveillance team followed Heuermann through Manhattan where he worked. They watched as he ate pizza on the sidewalk and threw the leftover crusts into a garbage can. The moment he walked away, investigators rushed to grab the pizza box. They sent the crusts to a crime lab. The DNA from Heuermann's saliva on those pizza crusts matched a hair that had been found on burlap used to wrap one of the victims. After 13 years of dead ends, a half-eaten pizza slice delivered the evidence police needed. Additionally, hairs connected to Heuermann, his former wife, and his daughter were found on belts, tape, and burlap recovered from the victims. The case was now airtight. On July 13, 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested outside his Manhattan office during the evening rush hour. He was initially charged with 3 counts of murder for the deaths of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. He was later charged with the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes in January 2024. In June 2024, he was charged with the murders of Jessica Taylor and Sandra Costilla. Costilla's case pushed the timeline of his killing spree all the way back to 1993. Much earlier than anyone had believed.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks amongst us, a predator that ruined families. Heuermann was held on no bail. His wife filed for divorce after his arrest. His house in Massapequa Park was searched extensively by investigators for months.
The evidence against Heuermann was overwhelming. DNA matches from pizza crust saliva to hair found on victims. DNA from his wife and daughter found on restraints used on the victims. Cell phone data placing him in contact with victims before their disappearances. Burner phone records matching victim locations. Vehicle identification linking his Chevrolet Avalanche to a victim's disappearance. Thousands of internet searches about serial killers and the Gilgo Beach case. And his wife's travel records showing she was away every time a murder occurred. Former FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole described Heuermann as a serial sexual killer who lived what she called a pro-social life. She said killers like him can go undetected for decades because they maintain jobs, families, and normal routines. Then on April 8, 2026, the case reached its conclusion. Rex Heuermann appeared in Suffolk County Court in Riverhead, New York, and pleaded guilty. Standing in a dark suit with his hands shackled behind his back, he admitted to murdering 7 women: Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Sandra Costilla, Valerie Mack, Jessica Taylor. He was asked how he killed each victim. His answer was the same each time: strangulation. He then made a stunning additional admission. He confessed to killing an 8th woman, Karen Vergata, who disappeared in 1996, though he was never formally charged with her murder. Heuermann showed no emotion throughout the hearing. He never looked back at the gallery filled with the victims' families. The judge asked him, "Do you feel it is in your best interest to plead guilty rather than go to trial?" Heuermann answered yes. As part of his plea deal, Heuermann agreed to cooperate fully with the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit to help catch other serial killers. His sentencing is scheduled for June 17, 2026. Prosecutors are recommending multiple life sentences plus an additional 100 years, with no possibility of parole.
This has been a long journey of hope. Hope that one day we would stand here and say her name with justice beside it. Today, that long, painful journey brings us to this moment. I am glad that this is over as far as him pleading guilty. It took a big chunk of stress off of me and my family. My thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. Their loss is immeasurable. She never wanted to believe the man she was married to for 27 years was capable of these acts.
This case closes and another one opens. There are still bodies on that beach. We are going to continue to work to obtain closure for as many families as we can.
For 30 years, Rex Heuermann lived among his neighbors in suburban Long Island. He commuted to work in Manhattan, he attended family gatherings, he walked his dog, and all the while, he was a serial killer. 8 women are dead because of him. 8 women who had families, dreams, and lives that were stolen. The Gilgo Beach case is a chilling reminder that monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like the man next door. Subscribe for more true crime coverage. Comment below. Do you think there are more victims we don't know about yet? And should the investigation continue?